Hi there, Libra. This is Carrie Mubarak at wooingnature.life, and this is your January reading for 2020. So, welcome. Welcome to 2020. Welcome to the new year. It's a exciting time for everybody. Everybody is super excited about the whole 2020 thing. I don't know exactly why there's so much excitement around it, but I'm okay with it. I'm glad people are excited. I think it's just because it's 2020, it's a new decade. We're going into a new power of 10. All of that stuff is good and all of it is great, but we got to look a little deeper and we got to look at the astrology, and we also have to look at the numerology around 2020 so that you can understand what's really happening and you don't kind of get caught up in the wave of emotion about 2020 and forget why 2020 is really here. So 2020 is here to help us organize and to reset or set a new pattern in motion. So there is a new pattern being created, and that new pattern is actually what we've all been really wanting and needing in our lives. And by that, I mean some peace of mind. We need to become more connected. We need to connect back to the earth. We need to connect back to the stars. This is energetically and esoterically where we have been wanting to be and longing to be somewhere deep inside of our souls, and we have strayed way away from that. And that's okay too, because what that teaches us is what happens when we stray. And then when we get in alignment again, then you can truly appreciate the alignment for what it is. And so, this idea of becoming aligned with your purpose, which is something that people have been talking about for decades, it's nothing new at all. People have been inching their way toward this. It's a part of a great, bigger evolution, the evolution of mankind, the evolution of humankind. And so, therefore, there's an evolution happening within yourself. Now, over a lifetime, there is an evolution. That's natural, that's a part of the living process. Hold on one second. I'm going to close this window because somebody's car is really loud. Okay, maybe they're gone. Okay. I apologize about that, Libra. Anyway, I was like, let me pause this because that's a lot of noise. Anyway, this need for alignment with purpose, all of that ties back into the real bigger picture of our overall progress and evolution as a race of people. Okay, and so we have been dealing with that usually through conflict. Conflict is how we grow, honestly. So we've been doing that through conflict, through inner conflict and outside conflict. But that idea of breaking away, but at the same time needing new structure in place for something new, is it's a fine line. It's a tedious gadget. It's not something that you can just kind of spin on a dime. It's something that you have to really, really slowly turn, because everybody has to be able to assimilate the new frequency. We're operating at a new frequency, or you are ascending to a new frequency. So you have to be able to assimilate that, because your body, your mind, your spirit is accustomed to seeing and experiencing life in a certain kind of way. Um, it's been almost purely physical. So some of those veils are lifting, some of those illusions are moving away, and some people are going to be shocked because they were really under the impression that what they were seeing was something real. But all of that is kind of fading away. I call it the veils are rent. That's what I tell people all the time. The veils are rent now. There's been a rending of the veils. The veils are not there in a lot of places, and that's why people are really getting into their spiritual. They're starting to understand themselves from a spiritual standpoint. Some people already know you're a spirit walking. You're a human being. You have flesh, but your spirit is in you and outside of you. It's not just you. That's why people can think about you and bring back fond memories or not so fond memories or whatever. Your spirit goes beyond you. When you die, this physical life, there's still your spirit still lives on. That is infinite. It just keeps going. So this evolution process that we're doing on planet Earth, and we'll bring it back to Earth, we got to stay grounded because we're here doing this. We are here bringing this level of knowledge back to ourselves because it never left. We left it. So the knowledge of the ancient Egyptians, the knowledge of the ancient Commetans, the knowledge of the ancient Incans, the Maya, the you name it, just keep going. That knowledge has not left, but we are now becoming privy to it again. This is a return, okay? So we're becoming privy to it again. Nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just a return to some different ways, some simpler ways, some non-linear ways. I know I'm on a tangent right now, Libra, and I apologize, but I just have to, go with what the Spirit says. So this message clearly is for you. Um, so anyway, um, bringing it back around to the subject of 2020, the number two, those two twos that make a four, we have been dealing in a dualistic construct. Like I said, people deal with things from a linear fashion, but those people who are indigenous don't. They deal with everything on a circle. Everything is a circle. Okay, there is no linear. There is no complete opposites or whatever. Things that are polar opposites are a point on the same circle if you're looking at a circular construct. Um, so this idea of duality we've been wrestling with for a long time. It is not that you're going to get rid of the dual nature because that is Earth. That is how it is on Earth. Okay. But there is a new structure within that is being created and developed so that those dichotomies, those poles, those whatever come a little bit closer in on the balance scale, or those things we are able to see them as things that touch. And so that's where the balance is, that's where the alignment is, that's where we're trying to go, that's where we're headed. It takes time and it takes new structuring. And so individually within here, you're going to have to deal with a new structure for yourself, create new rules for yourself, how you're going to live, what are your boundaries, what are your yeses, what are your absolute no's. Getting down to some bottom lines within yourself and how you're going to live is the first order of business. You always start with the self. You can't worry about the world changing if you yourself are not willing to change, or if you yourself don't feel that you can change, or if you are blind to change, or if you are blocking change, or if you keep going in the same thing, doing the same thing in the same way, getting the same result. Now, if the result that you're getting is favorable to you, then keep going. But if the result is not favorable in the end, then you have to really pare down and really go within. And that's what this time is all about. I was going to eventually get to the subject. That's what this time is all about. That's what 2020 is. 2020 is a restructuring. It's a restructuring with a different balance. And so throughout 2020, there is going to be this ebb and flow of energy. There's going to be the ebb and there's going to be the flow. There's going to be the ebb and there's going to be the flow. You can expect that in 2020. You can expect to feel that. You can expect to feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. It's okay, because really what it is you're rocking it in. You're rocking it in. So when you rock it in, you're going to land in a nice, even little place. Okay? And that's what you're trying to get to, so that there's not these extremes, but that there is just a place of balance. And that's where Libra has to be. So that's where this is really significant to you. Now, I have taken the liberty to take a look at the astrology for January. I did not look at the astrology for the entire year of 2020. I looked at it for January because what I know is that, based on what I saw, is that how we start this year is going to be how we finish, or how well we finish. So January is a really important foundation building month for a year that is really focused on organization, planning, bringing order back into the world structure, your individual structure, etc., etc. So the lineup is astrologically, there are a number of planets in Capricorn. We have Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn. Pluto and Saturn have been in Capricorn for quite some time. It's been a slow roll. If you have been feeling the restriction, if you have been feeling blocked about certain things, if you've been trying to exercise or to activate certain areas of your life and they just won't activate, they're just like stubborn, then you can best bet that Saturn and Pluto are somewhere in the mix. Now, what Pluto is doing right now and suggesting right now through its degree is that we think of this thing like a relay race, or think of it like what we're doing together as opposed to these solo efforts. Then it'll be a little easier for us to assimilate, because that's where we're headed. So when we're talking about alignment and we're talking about aligning ourselves with the stars are saying that this is a group effort. This is where we're going. Pluto says we're going to go real deep on this thing, because we're going to get to the core of why we have become so disjointed. And when we get to the core of that, we're going to resolve it. And Saturn says new structures will be put in place. That's what Saturn's job is. And it is also in Capricorn. So this is a real, it is nuts and bolts. It's ranks and files. It's boxes. It's, checking the boxes, and checking off things. And paring down and bottom lines, all of this organization, efficiencies, and not just efficiencies in numbers, but also efficiencies here, efficiencies here. Who are you at your core? What is the one true thing about you that does not change? And then let yourself begin to reformulate your rules of order from there. Okay. The other planets that are lined up in Capricorn are Jupiter and Mercury. And then I think I said in somebody else's video that in later in January, Mars would come through, but it's not later in January, it's later in February. Mars comes into the sign of Capricorn too. So in other words, what I'm saying is you got 4 or 5 planets coming into Capricorn right back to back to back to back to back. Capricorn is about being about business. It's about what I just got finished telling you, bottom lines and all of that other kind of stuff. So how things go in January, how you're able to structure your thing in January is going to kind of set the pace for the rest. So you want to get it right. I don't want you to feel so much pressure about it, but you want to get it right if you can. Okay. You want to really dig deep for this one and go ahead and get a real solid sense of where you're aligned and how you're aligned. If you want help with that, you can reach out to me. My information is in the description box. All right. So we've got the lineup with Capricorn. We got the astrology of the month. I am going to do a sampling of readings for you, and I'll try to move it along because I know I've done a lot of talking with you, Libra, today. But I'm going to do a medicine wheel reading. I'm going to do an I Ching reading. I'm going to pull a animal totem card. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to deal with wealth, and we're going to deal with love. I think it's also in that order. So I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to grab the cards, and then we're going to start your reading. All right? Okay, Libra, I am starting out with the medicine wheel spread. The reason why I'm doing the different spreads for January is twofold. One, so that we can get a real solid sense of everything that's going on. I want everybody to start off on a good foot for January, and I think that this is a great way to do it. So the video will be pretty long today, but it's something I want you to return to over the course of the year, because if you do that, then we can kind of we can you can kind of use it as a guideline. Now, how, like I said, how we start in January is probably how you're going to, it's going to set the pace. So throughout the year, check back on this January video because you want to see where you are and how you're progressing. All right, so the medicine wheel spread is based on a Native American construct of the medicine wheel. It's for teaching and it's also for healing. And so I use that because it looks at your current situation and it looks at it from all points, like from what it is at the core and then what's happening all around it, right? So we look at a card from the north, the south, the east, and the west. And in each one of those directions, it gives me a sense of what that's all about. And then also those north, south, east, west corresponds to your elements: earth, air, fire, and water. And then that breaks down into your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So this is a very comprehensive spread, even though it's just 5 cards. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So right here at the core, we have the curse. This has come up for a few people, and I don't, my feeling about it is, and what I see in the card is that there's this shadow side, but there's a clear line here for me with a hand covering the mouth. And so to me, it's like you not being able to express yourself fully, or not being able, or not feeling like you are in full expression. So the throat chakra is where you want to work. If you want to do healing work for yourself, you want to do have a focus around the throat chakra, because the throat chakra represents your point of expression. And that can be in any form. It's not just talking. It could also be creative expression. So if you are not feeling like you are expressed, like either you're not being heard, or you're not being felt, or people don't understand you, or you feel like you can't speak up or speak out for yourself, or in any other way where you feel stifled or muffled or anything like that, that's what we want to have, what you want to have your eye on, particularly because this is coming up at the center. So to me, this is something that has been felt for a long time, or you have sensed this for a while, or you feel this way right now at this moment in time. Now, what's going on in your south, which is it's the place of childhood, is what it relates to, or how it corresponds. The place of childhood is where we learn, where we are discovering new things, and where we are open to new possibilities. And there's a totem here, and it's the eagle totem, which tells me that there's some leadership opportunities, or some learning around leadership that you are that you either need to be involved in, or that you could be involved in at this time. So look around in your neighborhood, in your community, online, whatever. There may be some leadership workshops, or seminars, or webinars, or anything like that. There's plenty of things out there about that. So if you want to look at leadership, or any kind of leadership model, then that would be a good place for you to start. And that may be a part of how you need to express yourself. Again, we're talking about this being at the center. If there is a form of expression that that can be very powerful, it is of leadership. So I would take a look at this area, and also you'll want to just keep this as a totem. And there's another totem here for you as well in the north position, but we'll get to that in a minute. In the west position, I have the seer. And so the west is where we go to look within. And of course, the seer card is someone who sees past the illusions. It's not about seeing, physically, of course. It's about seeing spiritually, seeing, going inside the self, or going within, and using your intuitive eye for you, or to look closely at your past. It could also be to look closely into your past lives. So if you are interested in doing any past life study, that's there for you too. And then, of course, for those of you who are connecting to your ancestors, it could be there. But I feel like there's information in one or more of those, and depending on, you know, how deep you want to go, is what I'm saying. Depending on how deep you want to go, all of it is recommended, all of it is good, but it's there for you really to understand your past in from a spiritual standpoint, not from just, these are memories, right? What are the memories? Therefore, how are they etching themselves in the scroll of life? Everything that you do, everything that your parents did, your great grandparents, so on and so forth, there's a chain. Some of it is based on DNA, some of it is not, some of it is spiritual. So there's spiritual DNA just like it's physical DNA. And so what this card is saying is for you to look there, to do your seeking there, and to see what comes from that. And then in the north position, this is the other totem card that came up. This is the crow, and the crow sees in all directions. The crow is a law, considered to be the law keeper or the keeper of the law. Now, when we talk about the law, we talk about spiritual law and physical law for the crow. So man's law mimics spiritual law, as above, so below, for those of you who follow that teaching. So the crow knows both of those. The crow understands spiritual law, and I think that this is why this is in place, because there are some ancient teachings that are beckoning you, or that are calling you from your own past, through your own DNA, through your own spiritual DNA, or your physical DNA. It could be either one or both. But the crow is calling you to that place, and is and quite frankly, when the crow calls, you got to answer. So you have a couple of totems that you are walking with in January. One is the eagle, one is the crow. They're both very powerful totems. Now, the story goes is that the crow was offered the power of the eagle, but he chose not to fly as high, because he preferred to be in a space where he could see both sides. I don't know how that adds up for you, or if that's something that resonates with you. But I would say certainly that during the month of January, you will be making some decisions about your position and what position you're going to choose to hold. And it could be the crow position, or it could be the eagle position. It could be a true leadership position, or you could be just in a position where you can serve as the one who sees. But that is a choice that you'll have to make, Libra, and that's a choice that'll be coming towards you. So you're learning this, and you are knowledgeable of this, or this is where knowledge is reaching back to you, or where you're reaching to it. But it is a decision that you will probably make at some point. And then in the east, which is the open gateway, you have the drum. So what this tells me is you've got to follow a rhythm. You can't go by a clock. You can't go by what someone else is saying is the right thing to do. You really have to get in rhythm, and get in stride, and get in synchronicity. The best way to do that is to start connecting through nature. I can't say enough about it. It just does what it's supposed to do. You don't even have to try hard. Go and spend time in nature, and also get connected with nature. I highly recommend that you take a look at the new and the full moon view on YouTube, because what that does is it gets you in synchronicity with the moon, which is a good start for everybody. Now, there's other synchronicities. You can sync up with anything in nature, because you're a part of nature yourself. You have energy, a tree has energy, the stars have energy, and you can exchange energy with any entity whenever you get ready. So, but syncing with the moon from a cognitive standpoint And because the moon's energies are so easily felt, because we are feeling people, we are water people. There's a lot of water in our body. The earth is 3/4 water. We're 3/4 water. So the feeling with the moon and how the moon moves us is very palpable in a very tangible way for us to get connected to the energy and the rhythm of nature. So that's what you're going to need to do. I can give you a full moon and a new moon view if you want to do that too, but that's the best way to really start getting in sync that in your astrology. But anyway, you got to get in sync, you got to get in rhythm, you got to start moving by rhythm. Okay, not by oh, my schedule said I got to be here by this. That, you're going to have to find your way away from that in order to be able to really assimilate these powerful energies that you have here on the table. So again, Libra, real quick, you're moving past this kind of blocked, stifled space when you're within yourself. You have two very powerful totems, and then I have a third totem card that I pulled for you anyway. So you have a lot of powerful totem animals walking with you in January, and you are going to need them to be able to move through some of these situations. But again, you're going to do your seeing exercises, your meditation on your ancestry, past life regression for some of you, soul retrievals for some of you. I'm seeing for some of you, you all are gonna, maybe hypnosis bringing you back. Any of those kinds of things will be helpful, but you got to go in with intention. So there's a lot of different avenues for you to be able to access this past life thing that I'm telling you, but you just got to be mindful and you got to go in with your intentions. That's my recommendation for you. All right. And then of course the drum is saying you got to get in a rhythm. So in order for you to be able to access and assimilate this, to break through this wall, this fifth chakra thing, right? There's a lot of energy pouring into you around that, and you just got to do the work. All right, so this is your animal totem that I pulled for you. This is the deer totem. This is a very gentle animal, very sharp, very acute, hearing and sight. They are gentle. They're gentle spirits. So be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others, keep your eyes open, keep your ears peeled, be aware of the things that are going on around you and keep your awareness up. There's some meditation that you can do that will increase your awareness in that regard. But I just want to reiterate that you have not two, but three animal spirit totems that will be walking with you and walk with these energies. The crow energy, which is about understanding the law of nature, the law of mankind, the law of reciprocity, law of attraction, law of abundance. I don't know, whatever the laws are, the spiritual laws as well as the physical laws. The way that we have to manage here is very important. It's not just spiritual, it's spiritual and physical. And then of course there's that leadership, there's that high elevation, highly spirited elevation energy here, and then the gentle but aware and astute energy there. So I want you to really keep that with you throughout the month. All right, I'm going to keep it moving because I said I didn't want to take too long with anything. And I have the I Ching. So the second reading is your I Ching reading. And for you, I have pre-shuffled and got the number 46. This is an interesting image. A lot of times with cards, especially if they're abstracts, I like to, just see what I see in the image. And for me right now, I see a tree and I see a leaf growing from the tree. So it means to me that there's some growth, possibilities for growth, Libra, in your life in January. The beginnings of that growth, and that growth stems from a wider branch, meaning that it comes from something that's beyond you, which is important, okay? And the card corresponds to the passage called Ascension. How appropriate. So, this sign heralds a phase of exceptional success and recognition. You might even be presented with a chance to establish contact with a highly influential person. Use it with self awareness, but avoid appearing smug, as this will only spoil things. It is especially important that you work ahead steadfastly and maintain your independence. It could do no harm to build a greater solidarity with other people. Your feeling for things that matter between people will show you the way to better teamwork. The password to your inner development now is self-discipline. By being self-disciplined, your feet stay firmly planted on the ground and lasting success emerges. All right, so again, this is the ascension process. This is the effort that we are all going through right now. And Libra, it looks like you are well on your way. And so there's some information, some great information there, a very positive affirmation there for the month of January and what you can expect to come from that. I'll be pulling a changing line card for you, and we're going to look at which lines specifically relate to you. So give me 1 second, and we will pull a second card. Oh, there it is. And this card just gives us a sense of if we had changing lines and where the changing lines are. So we have 1, number 2, number 5. 1, 2, and 5. So we'll read 1, 2, and 5, and whichever one pertains to you, great, or if all of them pertain to you, great still. All right, line 1 from Ascension. You are not in the best of situations now. The reason is simple. Your capabilities have not yet been recognized. By hard work and perseverance, you win the trust of an influential person. Success and recognition loom on the horizon. So for some of you, you are almost at that point. You're not at the best situation right now, but it's on its way. Number 2, your sight is firmly set on the target. What matters is substance rather than external appearances. It is better that way. You should not forget that the appropriate behavior contributes to success. So just remember again that admonition about not being smug. Remember your own behavior as you are climbing up the ladder, I'm going to say. And then in sorry about that. All right. And then in the 5th line, it says, if you achieve unexpected success, please don't become arrogant or foolish. An ascent from a solid foundation is only possible through steady and gradual advancement. And so that's a good message. Again, there's another message there about foundations and building solid foundations and the need to have a solid foundation. But it looks great. Libra looks great as far as what's coming. You can expect some recognition. Some very highly influential people may recognize you during the month of January, and so be on the lookout for that. And that can come at any level. So it could be a boss, it could be a person of authority, or it could be somebody of great prestige. So just be on the lookout for that during the month of January. Very good. It looks like we're moving right along. All right, so the next reading is going to be your wealth reading, and this is I'm pulling from the Law of Attraction cards and the Law of Attraction, and this is about money, it's about wealth. But the reason why I really like these is because a lot of times issues around money or wealth happen here, and so there's some really good exercises here for the brain to get you to think differently about your money. So I'm going to read from this oracle, and then I'm going to follow up and do 3 cards from the tarot just to follow up to look at where you are right now in terms of your your financial health or your financial mindset. All right, so this card for you, Libra, in the pre-shuffle, because I pre-shuffle these for everybody. There is no shortage of money or time. So this is what you want to be thinking about during the month of November when it comes to handling your money situation or handling your wealth situation. There is no shortage, and any attention to shortage of something wanted will always produce negative emotion within you, because your guidance is letting you know that you have strayed from your broader basic understanding of abundance and well-being. Whether you are focused upon the shortage of money or seeing yourself as having only so many years to live, and so each day that is expended is one day closer to the end of your years, that feeling of decline is contrary to your broader understanding of the eternal nature of your being. So there's some deep stuff here in relationship to your money and your wealth. So if you're struggling with money and wealth, just pay attention to some of those messages and how you are receiving those messages. Rewind it and play it back, rewind it and play it back, and really see where your mindset is around that. But it is about your well-being, your understanding of what abundance is, and and then how you relate that to time. So people always say time is money, money is time. This is a different way of thinking about that, or another way of thinking about that. All right, so I am going to pull 3 cards from the tarot. And the 3 cards are going to represent 3 areas. One is going to be like where you are right now, where your mindset is about your wealth right now, what's going on right now in relationship to wealth and your money. And then I'm going to pull a second card. That second card is going to look at your mindset based on past experiences, what's influencing your current mindset about money, because it's important to know how we think about money. And how we think about money is influenced by our parenting, what we saw as a child, what we heard, what we dealt with, our own experiences with money are. And so I want to take a look at that, because that's influencing how you're currently thinking. And then we're going to look ahead to see what you need to do next in terms of your finances and that kind of thing. All right, so right at the center we have the Tower card. The Tower card is when you are trying to climb the ladder, or you're trying to get somewhere, and then all of a sudden something happens, and wherever you started, or whatever it is that you thought was going to happen didn't happen at all. And then you're kind of dealing with that, or what have you. So the thing here is to really look at how things fell apart. If they did fall apart for you financially, what was the linchpin, what was the thing that started the tumble, and deal with that, or pay attention to that. All right, past thoughts and influences. Yeah, 5 of Wands. It comes from conflict. So this current mindset around money and finances, and how that's going for you, or whether you are tapping into your wealth or not, is based on some kind of conflictual thing that was happening in your past. It could be fights about money if you're in a relationship with somebody, or were in a relationship with somebody, and you're having arguments or fights about money. That could have been the impetus or the influence for the current situation. Also, this could also mean, internal conflicts, things that you are fighting against yourself about. And that's why it's really important to really change your mind, or to have these kinds of things to help you shift your mindset, because any little thing can trigger a change in how you feel about something. In life, our experiences change us, they evolve. It's a part of our evolution. And so sometimes if those experiences were negative and conflictual in relationship to money, it can create the conflict that then creates the the downfall of the money situation as it happens and when it happens. All right, and so the next card, which represents things to do moving forward, we have the Temperance. Temperance card is about balancing yourself, understanding yourself in context with the situation, with the money, and really coming to a consensus about how you're going to view this. This really isn't about what you're going to do. It's more about how you're going to think. It's not about what you're going to do about the money. It's how you're going to think about the money, because you've already had the deconstruction, right? You've reached the disillusionment based on past experiences. You've reached the level of disillusionment about it. But after disillusionment comes enlightenment. And the enlightenment is here. It's like bringing it back into focus and bringing it back into balance. And that I know you will do just fine with Libra. All right, and so the last reading is the love reading, and this is your love card. I'll let you take a look at that and just see what you see in it. I like to look at the images of the cards. These cards are by Orna Ben Shoshan in, I hope I'm saying that right, in Israel, and these are also based on Kabbalistic teaching. So I'll be reading some things. If you are studying the Kabbalah, I will read the information about that, and that may provide a deeper meaning for those of you who are on that path. For some of you, it'll just be a visual, so I'll let you kind of catch the visual. On the back of the card, there's also a message, and this message is minimizing personal needs. So whatever that means to you, I'll just let you take that in. What I see is two individuals who are quite responsible for a lot. They're not just in it for themselves, but there's others who are being affected. I don't know if you can see this well. If I put it too close, it's going to be blurry. But there's a lot of other people depending on you, Libra, and this partnership. So for those of you who are in partnership with someone already, what you're doing is really not just for you, but it's for other people. So think about your influence, think about your example, and think about that in terms of leadership. We did talk about leadership and what you were learning. Some of you may be learning leadership within a family construct or even within a community construct in terms of your coupling, you and your partner. For those of you who are not in partnership, I mean romantic partnership, spousal partnership, or committed relationship in that way, then you can look at this in terms of yourself and another person. Could be a friend, could be another soulmate that is not a romantic partner, and just kind of reflect on you and that person and what you are doing for others, for the people in the community around you. So there's a lot of responsibility, I'm going to say, that's associated with this card. This is, again, just off of me reading the image of the card itself. I am going to go to the text because the text has all of the information for those of you who are studying the Kabbalah, and it also has further information about what to look for in the relationship. Now, with this, what I will say about this oracle is you got to get in where you fit in. A lot of, everything is not going to be for you. So just kind of take what you get, or take what you resonate with. Just kind of let the information flow over you. That's what I like to say. All right, so this is the letter Sadi. It's the 18th letter. It's associated with Aquarius. So if Aquarius means anything to you, and the Hebrew month of Shevat, its geometric value is 90. So 9 or 90 may mean something to you. It's associated with the air element. Some of you may be, you are an air element, Libra, but you may be involved with somebody who is an air sign. So this may mean have more significance to you. It's also associated with the planet Uranus. So any of you all who are with people who may be an Aquarius, or who have a heavy Aquarius or strong Aquarius in their chart, it could pertain to you. And it conducts between the Sephiroth Gebura, and Tiferet, so between strength and beauty. And it governs the sense of taste and food. And in the tarot, it's associated with the star card. So, star card is the star power card. So, again, this might be some of you might be a power couple. This might be some power coupling energy here. All right, so this card is number 56, minimizing personal needs. It represents a successful relationship that's calm and harmonious, a deep connection with love with the right person for the right reasons, and satisfaction with family and offspring. One of the spouses cares for the home and family, and the other is a person of the wide world. He deals or she deals with the social political issues with a sense of mission and personal contribution, and the other person's intense work or the person's intense work requires long absences from home. So if any of that applies to you, or if you are in a relationship with that, then like that, then this will pertain to you. The spouse or the significant other is at home. That's at home has to compromise, settle for less quality time, and share attention with lots of others. Sounds like a power couple to me. Often the marriage is pushed aside and becomes a second priority. There will be situations in which the distance of the frequent traveler from the intimate life will lead to a neglected partner to conduct light extramarital affairs just to fill in the gaps, but ultimately the greatest love is dedicated to the permanent partner, and he'll always be a priority. I told you, some of this can get very deep. If you have a choice, either complain and harass your idealist wanderer for his absence or connect with the higher values that call him to action. Understand that this is what motivates him, and the need, and this is him or her. Now this is written as the male, but it could be either one depending on your partnership. It could be if you're in a heterosexual relationship, it could be the female or the male. If you are in a homosexual relationship, then it could be either one of you. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about gender here. We're just talking about partnerships in general. So wherever it applies, then let it apply. All right, so let's see, for single. So if you are single, your broken heart is finally cured and you hope for the knight in shining armor. This represents optimism, expanding horizons, and adherence to high values will attract the right mate to you. So adhere to high values, and that's going to draw the person to you. This time it will be a stable and fulfilling relationship, and if you have already met the designated person, you will receive significant proof of what you mean to him and get a clear feeling that the relationship will succeed. In terms of personalities, now this personality is important information because it could be you, Libra, or it could be your partner, or it could be a person that you're looking for. So if you're single and you're looking for a partner in the month of January, then this might represent